We're talking to Attorney John Molo, constitutional law professor at the UP College of Law. Welcome back to StoryCon, Attorney.
Hi, sir.
Hi everyone.
Hi,
Good afternoon.
attorney.
Hi
Hi, sir.
Amy.
Thanks
Hi
for joining us
Ed.
again.
Hi
Yeah.
Rudina.
There's a lot of sub issues to hash out here, but yung June 3 happenings at the Senate, there's some legal questions there, no? So isa-isahin ko. First and foremost, were they allowed to have convened without the Senate President, pro tempore Majority Floor Leader, and Deputy Majority Floor Leader on that day?
Yeah, they're allowed. I mean, the legislative power is given directly to a body, and that body has its own rules. And then, although they may elect officers, that doesn't mean that the body itself cannot convene if the Senate President is not there.
Even if the four top officials are not there.
Yes, that's where the quorum requirement comes in.
Pero sir, what would trigger the authority to be given to anybody in, for example, the Senate to convene or to call a session? Sabihin natin wala lahat ng opisyal. Lahat sila minority. And sabihin natin 12 nga sila. So they have, at least on the surface, at least 50% of all the members of the chamber. What would trigger the grant of authority to any of the members of the minority?
Okay, let's reset para ma-set natin yung baselines. We're talking about parliamentary proceedings.
Yes, sir.
As being used by a branch, one half of a branch of government. That's the Senate. So when you think about how parliamentary bodies work, the power is given to the body itself. It doesn't need a trigger because the power is exercised by a parliamentary body's majority. So even if you have officers, if a majority of that body meets and even the officer doesn't, again, going back to basic parliamentary principles, the majority will prevail.
Okay. Could they have, well, I guess the following question is related to that. Could they have declared all positions vacant? Were they allowed to
Yeah.
do that?
Yes, rules of the Senate. That would be, since there's no specific rule to declare a motion to declare all seats vacant, but it's been done every time. It's actually treated as an ordinary motion. So section 87, 88 yan. So majority of those present ang mag-a-apply. Maybe para mas madali, going back from the start, in a parliamentary body, we can distinguish between ordinary business, the ordinary business of legislation, di ba ganyan? And then those instances where either the Constitution or the rules of that body impose a higher requirement. So meron kang regular majority, which we call a simple majority. Okay, and the way we interpret simple majority is simply a majority of those present. And then for the extraordinary instances stated by the Constitution or by the Senate rules or the House rules, you have requirements like absolute majorities or super majorities, the 2/3 vote requirement. Ganon. So since they convened, they declare the quorum, and then they have a motion to declare all seats vacant, which is very important in terms of parliamentary steps. So medyo maayos yung pagkakalatag kasi nung proceeding nila eh. And I'm not surprised because the more senior senators are part of that block sila Senator Lacson, and especially former SP Soto is very good in parliamentary procedure. So yung pagkakalatag medyo systematic. So when they declared all seats vacant, that's actually it. All seats are vacant, and then unfortunately the other side wasn't there. They're supposed to fight it out in the plenary. So
Sir, when you say all seats vacant, does that include or could that include the Senate presidency?
yeah,
Yeah.
all seats. Kasi even if you dial back, each time nagpapalit talaga ng, we call it coup d'etat sa Senado, di ba? Nagpapalit ng Senate President. The sequence is always that. You do your caucuses. Whoever thinks they have the numbers, and then in reality, as it plays out on the record, meron lang magmo-motion to declare all seats vacant. And then the elections will follow. We just take it for granted that these things are a package. But actually, they're separate parliamentary steps eh. So ngayon lang medyo na-emphasize na magkahiwalayan yung elections that will follow once you vacate those seats.
Attorney, yung ang issue yung pag-convict mismo, it was made possible by the arrival of Chis Escudero.
Yeah.
Nagkaroon sila ng 12, kinompute nila yung quorum nila, it can be 12. Tapos, ang consideration nila for calling that session nga, dahil nagrereklamo na rin yung House, dahil hindi naman daw sila sinabihan na cancel yung session for 2 days, na which is against their rules ng Congress. So, kinonbin nila, magsisinediya na sila. Tama ba yung basis na yon? Kaya nila yun para ituloy na natin dahil kailangan nating 2 days na tayong walang session, di man lang sinabihan yung House, merong mga naiipit, mga tao nandito. Tama yung basis na yon.
Yeah, I mean,
At
actually
dumating
that
naman
was
si
a...
Chis eh.
Yes, and medyo tama yun kasi actually we're facing a kind of a problem, a constitutional problem that the president himself had to, I think, make a comment already when being interviewed. Kasi up to 3 days ka lang na a Senate President hindi magko-call ng session. Umabot na sa 3 araw. Magsisinide, you cannot call a sinide just by a letter that has to be again done through the plenary. Now the other House of Congress is asking, hey, what's happening at the Senate? We have several pending legislation. Do something because we cannot go on sinide and no one there is willing to work. So yun yung totoong context nito. We have the executive saying that we have several military officers, several key legislation waiting. Why is the Senate not working? We have the House also asking the same thing. So ang problema, since the officers were not willing to call a session or as we call it sa layman, ayaw pumasok, merong nakakuha ng majority na willing pumasok. Okay? So, yung pumasok na majority, sila yung nag-declare ng quorum nila and then they decided to declare all seats vacant, which is the trigger actually under the rules. That was carried. And since it's treated as an ordinary motion, then you don't need an absolute majority for it.
So, hindi interim yan kasi Alan Peter Cayetano is saying he is still the Senate President.
Well, former Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano is a lawyer and I'm sure he is very well versed in the rules. But unfortunately, at this point, there's only one way to get his office back. That's in the plenary. If he feels he has a majority on his side and he's the real majority, the records of the Senate will only reflect that there is a new majority claiming to be the new majority. But if the side of former Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano does not appear in the plenary and brings those numbers, we cannot assume that he has the majority. Remember, this is a parliamentary body. You cannot assume facts that kakampi mo pa rin yung isang senador. It's always shifting. That's why biglaan na lang nagkakaroon ng kudeta sa Senado or sa Kongreso, di ba? So he may claim he has a majority, but there is only one way to prove that. Bring them to the plenary.
Kailangan nila mag-eleksyon ulit.
Kailangan nilang sumipot sa plenary because there's only one place where you can hold business in the Senate and have it reflected in the records. Hindi pwedeng Facebook Live. Sa plenaryo yan dapat gawin.
Sir, if 12 is enough to take out, to declare all the positions vacant, if 12 is is 12 enough to also elect the other
No.
officers of the Senate?
No. Because removal, which is treated as simple ordinary business or ordinary motion, is different naman from electing a Senate President, which is governed by Article 6, Section 16.
Section 16 too.
And then it's also bolstered by the Senate's own rules, which is Rule 2.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Kailangan
We can flash Rule 2
tricky
here.
yun because ang nakalagay doon, may word all. The presence of the word all members, a majority of all members. So the word all qualifies the simple majority as an absolute majority.
Yes, sir. That's Rule
Sa
2,
Senate
Section
President
2.
lang yon.
Yes.
Pero sir,
Kasi yun yung nakalagay sa Constitution. But under Rule 2 kasi, to be fair lang, nakalagay the other officers. So, I leave it to the Senate to inform us what are their current state of rules.
yes, sir. Ito nga, sir, Rule 2, Section 2 ng Senate Rules, published, the latest publication was in March of 2025. The officers
Yeah.
of the Senate shall be elected by the majority vote of all its members. So, in other words,
Yes.
this should be 13 at least for you to be able to elect. Pero yun nga
Tama.
hindi lang Senate President dito kasi the officers of the Senate
Yes.
I guess the difference that Attorney Bolo is saying is wala siya sa Constitution. So it's up to them to decide since it's an internal matter. They have to decide.
And then there's also a rule on how you can amend that. Okay?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
since it's not a rule in issue yet, ayokong pasukin on my own.
Yes, sir.
We have to let the Senate play it out.
But even within the Senate, to amend its rules, it has to follow a process in the rules.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that includes yun nga,
There
that,
is.
that,
There
that
is.
long drawn out process which we saw already when they tried to amend the rules to allow for online voting. But sir, let me go back to that. In Section 2, Rule 2, dun sa election ng officers of the Senate, at least on the surface, it does sound like here that hindi lang yung SP, pati yung pro tempore and the majority leader and the deputies and possibly even, I don't know, possibly even the chairman of the committees?
You are correct. Based on that rule, it seems like it's not just the Senate President. So ako kasi hinintay ko yung official na ano ba talaga yung ginawa nila sa record. So we can see.
Pero
kung ano
sinasite nila, it's a Supreme Court ruling eh. Yung Avellino versus Cuenco.
Yeah, that's with respect to the quorum. But kasi, again,
Yeah.
the issue of a quorum, whether we can convene the body to do business is different from whether we can elect new officers, is also different from whether we can vacate all the seats. Quorum, safe. Vacate all the seats, safe. Elect new officers, depende kung ano yung ginawa nila. Hindi ko pa makita yung papel eh. So I will have to look at what was actually passed as a
Kasi
resolution.
paano ka magko-convene kung walang officer? Wala nga lahat ng officer eh. Paano
Meron
yan?
namang presiding officer. So the majority can have their presiding officer din naman. Those who are present.
So sir, even yung position ngayon ni Win Gatchalian and all the new officers of the Senate as elected by the new majority, even that now is debatable. At least debatable.
You can say it's debatable, right? Kaya nga ako, I'm interested in what the actual minutes and what the actual paper was passed. I don't want to preempt the Senate because I'm sure they have something there. Maraming abogado din dyan. But up to the point that they had vacated all seats and then they elected a presiding officer, I think medyo talagang safe yan.
Yun, sureball yun.
Yung doon naman sa point na meron na bang Senate President na bago, I think sila mismo nagsasabi wala pa. Now, the
Yeah.
other officers, that would be the gray area.
Yeah. Kasi sir, even Tito Soto has been very careful that they are not going to try to elect a new Senate President with
Yeah.
without 13 votes. Even they are careful about that.
Yeah. Yes. I can understand why he's very careful. Kasi, I mean, Tito Soto has been there for a long time. So I know where he's coming from, di ba? Parang alam niya din naman yung limits ng rules.
Pero kung dineclare na nila yung mga position na vacant, di wala na yung mga officers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Kaya nga, I'm really interested kung ano yung
Diba?
Yeah.
nakalagay
So-
sa...
Power of horse, a vacuum, di ba? Paano aandar yung Senado kung walang mga nakapwesto doon?
That's
Someone has to
precisely
take
what the
charge.
Supreme Court said in Avellino versus Cuenco as a
Yeah.
practical reality.
But it
So,
sounds like the only murky area here is whether or not they could have replaced Alan Peter Cayetano as Senate President. So to recap, what you're saying was, could they have convened without Alan Peter? Yes, that's covered. Could they have called quorum? Yes, because the Constitution's Article 6, Section 16 says the majority of the members. It does not say all of the members. And yung president nga is Avelino V. Cuenco, which counted 12 as a quorum, enough for quorum back in 1949 when other senators were unavailable. Can they elect a new SP? That is the part that we're debating right now, because
Yeah.
Rule 2, Section 2 of the Internal Rules of the Senate says that an SP shall be elected by a majority vote of all its members. And in fact, Rule 2, Section 2 goes so far as to include all the officers of the Senate chamber in the election. Kailangan majority vote of all
13.
its members. That word is not there in the Constitution, Article 6, Section 16 of the Constitution. And we already know at this point, as other legal luminaries have said, the law abhors a vacuum. The court will always lean towards allowing the chamber to conduct its business so it does not get paralyzed and so on. Pero now,
Just to be clear, I'm not saying that Alan Peter Cayetano was not removed as Senate President, because that's part of declaring seats vacant. So that's
Vacant
done.
na eh.
Kumaga, that's done.
Yeah.
so,
Whether or not there is a new Senate President, yun na lang ang natitirang tanong.
so
Wala pa namang sinasabi sila, yung the new majority, wala namang silang sinasabing meron ng
Yes.
regular Senate President. Kaya nga acting lang tawag nila kay ano.
Yeah,
Presiding
because-
officer nga ang tawag sa kanya ng iba eh.
Well, okay, sige. My thinking is kasi people are casual with the word Senate pro tempore, okay, as an officer. But pro tempore actually is a phrase that means in the meantime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's why I'm waiting kung ano yung actual resolution, ano yung kanilang ano. Kasi I want to understand what is the real capacity of the pro tempore that is presiding right now. Okay?
isn't
So, is it in the capacity of Rule 2? Is it in the capacity of a pro tempore in that traditional sense? But I defer to the Senate because the Senate, there's only one body who can tell us who its officers are. That's the Senate itself. So right now, the Senate has told the nation and the President, the executive branch, the House of Representatives has recognized it. They told all of us, and it was been recognized, that we have a new set of officers. We remove our old one. So,
Yeah.
parang, who's gonna say na hindi?
the other side?
Then they have to go to the plenary to do it.
Isn't that a gap, a loophole, attorney? Because in the Constitution, Article 6, Section 16, 2, which is related to the Avellino Doctrine, as we were talking about, seems to say that the base number for quorum can be adjusted to exclude senators that are beyond the jurisdiction of the chamber, i.e., you can't compel them to come back and conduct business or carry out their legislative duties. But same article, Section 16.1, does say to elect a Senate President, you need a majority of all its members. And now we have the situation wherein, yes, you can declare his seat, Alan Peter Cayetano's seat, vacant, but you can't elect a new Senate President. Isn't that a loophole here? Isn't that a gap in the law?
Well, I mean, sa akin, not really. I mean, this is how a parliamentary system is supposed to work. I mean, even if you're presidential, these are parliamentary rules. You build coalitions. You have a weekend to get one senator to jump. The republic is not to go to hell because of just one weekend. What matters is that the crisis that preceded it, caused by the former officers, has been addressed. Legislation is working again, everything. Now,
Yeah.
if over the weekend the new consensus builders will be able to get one more vote to put, then everything, all of this will be moot. Diba?
Yeah.
So, but there have always been points in history where, okay, we need to decide. Kaya nga maraming kaso on Senate elections or House elections. I recall there was a time, the late Congressman Lagman even filed a case in the Supreme Court asking the Supreme Court to determine who is the legitimate minority. The Supreme Court said that, hey, we are not in the business of interfering in the elections of Congress. Kaya nyo na yan. Which is true. I mean, who the officers of each House of Congress is left to both Houses of Congress. You're all parliamentarians. You decide amongst yourselves and then inform the country. That's how we approach it. But it's not really a gap that's gonna lead the republic to die because apparently there's a new majority already. And the only way to really overturn the claim of that new majority to their numbers is to present your own numbers in the plenary. That's how it works. So, I mean, people are throwing words like constitutional crisis, but I don't see a constitutional crisis anymore since
Yeah.
the legislature is working again, and the only contention is coming from people outside the plenary who don't want to appear in the plenary. That's going to be their problem. If they say they're the majority still, then how come they cannot go to the plenary? It will all be solved by a simple matter. Even yung nagsasabi, oh, only the Supreme Court can resolve this. The Supreme Court, I mean, ganito na lang. When you're in the Senate or the House, it's really a battle between all sides. Since we're a multi-party system, it's a battle of parliamentary procedure. So, if you want to battle it out in legislation or maybe in the election of officers, you have to slug it out. You cannot cede that ground and be absent for several days, and then when a new majority coalesces without you, you complain and say, hey, that's not fair. You have to go back to the battle inside the halls of Congress and fight it out there. And also, after being absent and losing your majority, because tumawid na nga si Senator Escudero, you cannot then turn around and ask the Supreme Court, hey, Supreme Court, help me out here, and tell them I'm still the majority.
Yeah.
You have to do it inside the halls of Congress.
Yes, sir.
In the meantime, pinag-uusapan ngayon na magtawag si President Marcos ng special session just to get some of the derailed pieces of legislation going sa legislative work. Ano ba yung impact talaga nun? Can you tell us about it?
Well, the power of the president. Okay, I heard you talking right before I came in that
Yeah,
there's an
nagrereklamo si
allegation
Alan
that
Peter,
nangingialam ang presidente. Hindi nangingialam ang presidente kasi under the Constitution, the power to call a special session is given to the president.
Yeah.
Okay, as he may deem necessary. In fact, wala nga yung as he may deem necessary sa presidente. If the president can call a special session anytime under Article 6, Section 15, then that's up to him. Now, it's also up to the houses of Congress whether they will heed the call for a special session. But apparently, I heard from you that the House of Representatives have already said yes.
They will.
And if the Senate also says yes and they all agree, who are we to now interfere there? Even I don't have a personality to say, hey, you cannot call a special session. Under the Constitution, it's all under the President's call. And then if both houses of Congress agree, then a special session happens.
Sir,
Pero yung message doon, of course, greater recognition by the executive of the new group of Senate leaders, no?
Yes, that's very important. This is politics. This is parliamentary procedure playing out. A change in leadership in any House of Congress is normal. We've seen it several times. Sometimes contentious, sometimes nagiging magulo. This is a blip in constitutional history. Now, what matters is that the executive branch has recognized it, and I believe the House has recognized it. You said that the IBP has recognized it as well.
Yeah.
If that's true, then that means the legal community is parang sa international law yan. Pag merong bagong presidente ng isang bansa tapos nare-recognize na, that has to have weight. You know, there's only one way to undo what happened in June 3. The side of the Cayetano bloc has to go to the plenary and say that, hey, we are the majority and this is our numbers. If they can do that under our democratic system, they're the new majority. And he will be back as Senate President.
in Avelino versus Cuenco, sir, if I read it right, even the Supreme Court then did not want to rule on who
The Senate
really
President.
is the leader of the Senate.
Yes.
Even though
Agree.
it did decide on the quorum.
Okay, just to be fair, himayin natin yung Avelino. Just to be fair, Avelino versus Cuenco is not a decision on quorum. Tinuturo namin sa law school as a decision on political questions. Meaning, ang totoong ruling ng Supreme Court dyan na we do not want to interfere in the election of Senate President Okay, and they've done that several times in other cases. The Supreme Court does not interfere in the elections of both houses of Congress. That's what we teach Avellino versus Cuenco for. Now, the curious thing there is that the Supreme Court itself was very divided. Four justices said there's a
yeah.
quorum for purposes of doing business. Another four said there's no quorum. And then two justices even said that, you know what, we have no jurisdiction over this. With a voting like that, you have six justices who decline absolutely to touch the quorum. That should have ended na parang, okay, political question to, wala na kaming sasabihin. Ang problema lang, may sinabi sila, tapos medyo madami. So yun yung kino-quote nowadays. To be fair and to be frank, that's not doctrinal. There is no Avellino doctrine per se. There's no Avellino doctrine. There's no Avellino rule. Okay? Just to be fair, it's obiter. However, curiously, after Avellino was promulgated, several Supreme Court decisions that came after kept on citing Avellino when deciding issues of quorum. So that's where all of this is coming from. Technically, the decision itself is obiter on quorum. However, after it was decided, several Supreme Court decisions kept on citing Avellino as authority on quorum. So, para lang medyo baka naguguluhan din yung taong bayan, bakit both sides
I
ganito.
think so.
Well,
Oo.
ito yung both sides. Ito yung buong katotohanan. Obiter talaga yan, pero after kasi ipasa ng Supreme Court, yung Supreme Court din mismo, throughout the years, sinasite siya for matters of quorum. So, nagkaroon talaga ng medyo inconsistency there.
So
Kaya
when you
both
say-
sides
Yes, sir. Sir, when you say obiter siya, obiter lang siya, by that I suppose you mean na it is not the main case. It's by the way.
It's a by the way, and pag when a portion of the decision is declared obiter, it has no binding precedent. That's no effect as a binding precedent. So we don't use it, for example, if I have a case, I don't really use it as determinative of what will happen to my case.
It's just
It's persuasive, maybe,
it's an opinion.
but not binding precedent.
So should we be quoting
Avellino v.
Avellino
Cuenco.
then?
I'm not. I'm focusing more on the fact that I use Avellino again as a political question case. And this is a classic question kasi of a political question, what we're having right now. So I approach it that the question is propounded to the country. Who is the current Senate President? That's up to the senators. Okay, who has the majority? If the Cayetano bloc says that they have a greater majority, they have to go to the floor. Right? No, the Supreme Court cannot put the toothpaste back in the tube. You cannot use the Supreme Court to fight your battles for you. To be fair to the Supreme Court, they're a judicial body. They're not an COMELEC, di ba?
Yeah.
Parang,
Yeah.
not even the COMELEC does that. So much less the Supreme Court.
It's a great reminder that that case was actually denied. Yung petition na yon, 6-4, and one abstained. One was not there. 6 voted to deny. So it's not Avellino v. Cuenco was not a decision on quorum. That's, I think, what a lot of people need to hear, because it's come up and now there's a lot of debates online. And I think people assume that it is a precedent. It's jurisprudence.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunately it's not. It's useful for political questions, and which is this incident is a political question, so it's useful for this incident, but not determinative as to quorum.
So
The
obiter.
quorum issue is actually answered by Rule 44 of the Senate Rules anyway, which imposes a simple majority. So I don't need to go to Cuenco. I mean, Section
Ano yung Rule
44
44?
of the Senate Rules.
Rule 44, ano na nga yan? Ano na?
Yung section 44 of the Senate Rules
Yeah.
defines how you get a quorum.
Oo.
So, Section
Ano?
44 begins with the statement, except during the elections of officers as defined under Section 2. So, why did they put that? They were trying to make it clear that this is for ordinary business. If you're not gonna elect officers, ito gagamitin nyo, Section 44. Section 44, if you read it, imposes a simple majority. So in-emphasize niya na, okay, if other business except electing a Senate President, ito gamitin nyo, simple majority. If mag-elect ka ng bagong Senate President, refer to Section 2.
Pero sir,
Yung committee chairmanships. Sa committee chairmanships, kasama ba
Yeah.
yun dun sa other? Pwede yan.
Yeah, kasi the general rule in Parliament is really you just need simple majorities.
Yeah.
Oo.
So, pwede.
Absolute majority is actually an exception.
Oo.
I mean, ano yan? Sometimes out of a body of 100, 60 lang yung papasok. So a simple majority means that the majority of 60 na pumasok, yun ang mag-apply. That's normal for parliamentary bodies.
pero sir, going back to the question of quorum dun sa Abilino versus Cuenco, kasi we've had so many people, including like for example, there's a statement from the law deans, professors of juridical science and all that. Even they're quoting Abilino and Cuenco, also the IBP, and so many other so-called legal experts have been quoting Abilino versus Cuenco.
Versus.
So,
Saying that
is it worth quoting, or is it to be discarded?
Oh, Abilino versus Cuenco is taught in all law schools, again, for political questions. Now,
sir.
if you're gonna use it for quorum, I'm not so sure about that. But I'm not saying that the people who use it right now are absolutely wrong. I haven't really read what they said, I have to confess. So, for me lang kasi, this question will benefit from Abilino versus Cuenco as authority for avoiding political questions. Because quorum by itself is already addressed by the power of the Senate and under its Senate rules. So I think it's on, kaya nga para sa akin parang the June 3 session is on safe ground naman eh. So parang I'm not really that concerned about it.
Under the Senate's own rules.
Yeah.
Under
oo.
Rule
And
44
if you
of
want
the
to use
Senate.
Abilino versus Cuenco to bolster it, that's
Yeah.
allowed din naman. But I won't use it as kasi ako litigator ako eh, and I actually have to check if I can actually use the case in court. I won't use it as my first line of defense. Let's put it that
Okay.
way. Maybe I'll put it as my second or third. Kasi I'll stand by the rules and the text of the Constitution. Medyo safe naman ako doon.
Yes, sir. Kasi nga itong statement of
okay.
law deans and professors, they were quoting Abilino versus Cuenco particularly on the portion about the quorum, not on the political question. It cited that particular paragraph where hinimay ng Abilino versus Cuenco yung majority of the House versus majority of all the members of the House, and made that
Oh yeah,
distinction.
that's valid naman. Kasi there's a portion in Abilino versus Cuenco where the four members of the court, and I know this because the text of the decision itself says, oh, by the way, if you're interested, four of our justices actually believe this,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Even if it's not binding. Ganun yung pagkakasulat niya. Tama yun.
But again,
Tama
it's
yun.
obiter.
Nandun sa decision yon. Ngayon, ang tanong lang naman din kasi, is it gonna be Now, may nag-file na sa Supreme Court, sabi ni Amy kanina,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
when this comes to the Supreme Court, ilalabas din ng justices kasi yan eh. You know what? Abilino is not binding precedent. So, for me, just to be fair, since alam ko namang lalabas din yan later on, might as well say that, okay, these are the pitfalls of relying on Abilino fully. But you can still use it because it's a Supreme Court decision. It's there. And to be fair, the Supreme Court itself, in subsequent decisions,
it.
kept citing Abilino for purposes of
Yeah.
quorum. Kaya nga sabi ko, kaya nalilito din kami kasi parang, teka muna, ano ba talaga? So, the way I appreciated the discourse online kung bakit both sides talaga nagsasite yan at hindi, is because I can see some actors are cherry-picking deliberately. But just to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, there is also some confusion because of the way the Supreme Court used Abilino after they promulgated it, which causes some confusion as well.
But again, it's just obiter.
Kasi nagamit uli siya nung
obiter.
di ba? In another case, I think 2015 ba yun, Ed? Or,
Marami po,
Ano year yun?
Ma'am
May 15
Amy,
na.
paulit-ulit siyang
Several
sinasite.
times.
Pero yun nga parang, okay, is this binding now or not? di ba?
Oo. Yung mga ibang Supreme Court, yung subsequent Supreme Court rulings, hindi ba pwedeng
They-
i-cite yun na jurisprudence?
As an advocate's position, posible.
Yeah.
But again, I'm
Yeah.
saying that as an advocate's position. When I say as an advocate's position, I'm taking a very strong position based on my personal view. Okay? So I just need to be honest. That's an advocate's position already.
Yeah.
Hindi siya baseline position. Kumbaga na, what does the Constitution say based on based on special sessions? Yun, madali kong sagutin.
But-
President decides.
But again, your
Yung
point,
tanong mo, Amy, advocate's position yung sagot ko nun.
but again, your point being, di naman kailangan ng Abilino v. Cuenco.
Yeah.
Rule 44
Yeah,
of the
malakas
Senate
naman
rules.
kasi yung posisyon ng June 3.
Yeah.
And if you wanna put it in as one of your arguments, okay din yun.
Hindi.
Kasi I mean,
Oh.
Pandagdag lang siya.
pandagdag, I mean, wala namang
No, but-
masama
but
kung
if
magdagdag
you-
ka ng maraming arguments,
Oh,
right?
If
But,
you read the initial statements of the
Totoo.
lawmakers of the so-called new majority shortly after they did that, that was the core of the argument, which is this has precedent in Abilino v. Cuenco, and that's how we ended up debating this case. Na yun nga, as you pointed out, 6-4 naman pala. The petition was denied, and only 4 of the judges said, by the way, quorum can be constituted with 12, and that's an obiter. That's not the decision itself. So.
I can qualify that, Reg. What the statement that I heard from the presiding officer, Gatchalian, was that there is precedent citing Avellino. The precedent he was referring to, I believe, is the 2015 records of the Senate,
Yeah.
wherein that case was cited. So what he was actually citing was Senate precedent. As a parliamentary body, they're allowed to do that. That within their own tradition and rules,
Why-
this has been done before. That's very powerful for them.
Is it curious to you that nobody has cited Rule 44 of the Senate if, as you say, it's right there, that it needs to be a simple
Lalabas
majority?
naman yan sa litigation, I'm sure. If there's gonna be litigation, I'm sure lalabas naman yan. It's just that everybody's talking about Avellino right now.
Kaya nga eh.
I mean, you have to give it to us lawyers. We're kind of nerdy about our cases. So we like that. And then, I mean, this is a very interesting case as well because it's like parang history repeats itself, right? So
Actually, the precedent that you're talking about on May 15, 2025, there were 3 senators that were detained. One of them was Senator Jinggoy Estrada. So parang we really are repeating ourselves.
well, if you want to talk about history, look at Avellino v. Cuenco. One of the senators involved was Asoto.
Yeah.
Yes.
And therefore, I'm quite confident that former Senate President Tito Soto
Yeah, he
is
studied.
aware of that precedent and how that played out. That's why yung pagkakalatag niya ng procedure dito, malinis yan. Ano yan, inaral niya yan.
Ayun.
Should the Supreme Court intervene in this case? I mean, the other arguments that I've heard against Avellino were that it's no longer valid because it was 1949, and obviously that was patterned after the 35 Constitution, and that's no longer valid. We have a new Constitution. But we also know the Supreme Court is allergic to intervening in other branches of government's internal affairs.
You know, Supreme Court precedents do not completely lose their value just because they came from a different constitution. We have to check whether or not the provision concerned is markedly different from the 1987 Constitution. So, medyo linawin ko lang yon. Okay? Just because it's 1949, 1978, hindi ibig sabihin tinatapon na namin yan. Okay? So, depende yan sa provision concerned. Second, the Supreme Court, well, my problem here essentially, I cannot tell the Supreme Court whether it's wise for them to intervene. That's their discretion. Okay? And baka ma-disbar pa ako niyan. As a litigation strategy lang here is that you have to remember that although there is expanded judicial review, and I've seen this bandied about online, merong expanded judicial review still requires something in order to be triggered. grave abuse of discretion.
Yeah.
So, anyone going to the Supreme Court has to satisfy the Supreme Court that in this case, there is grave abuse of discretion. So, where is the grave of abuse of discretion here? You remember, grave abuse of discretion is not simple abuse or not simple mistake or error of judgment. It's a term of art. By
Right.
definition, it has to be whimsical, arbitrary. So, ang tanong, in the context of what happened in the Senate, who was being whimsical? Who was being arbitrary? The president was panicking because military officials' appointments, legislation was being held back. The House of Representatives was also concerned because magsisinidye na. A majority is cobbled together because may tumawid and decided to put the Senate back in business. So whoever's gonna argue this will have to convince the court that what happened was a grave abuse of discretion. That's a grave abuse of discretion.
Yun yung threshold.
The better part would have been to just let this thing continue. Yun yung first hurdle mo. Without grave abuse of discretion, the Supreme Court will not have an opportunity to So, ang laking burden nun medyo baka akala lang ng mga tao, basta lang mag-file sa Supreme Court, tatanggapin. The Supreme Court has many jurisdictional hurdles na kailangan mo lagpasan.
That's true. Okay, we'll leave that there. Thanks so much for talking to us and explaining all of that. Constitutional Law Professor, Attorney John Molo.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney.